We do not consent to experimental gene therapies being pushed on kids, adults as well, all people, whoever. These injections have never been properly trialled in randomised controlled trials within the National Health Service. They've been emergency licensed and they've been fast-tracked through into clinics and everywhere. You've seen the vaccine centres, you've seen people queuing up like sheep and cattle to be stabbed. They do not know that these things are dangerous. They do not know what's in these vaccines, these so-called vaccines. Doctors and nurses and school nurses, any registered nurse or any registered healthcare professional cannot give informed consent. They cannot gain informed consent because they don't know themselves what's in these injections.
Exactly.
Do you think that's right?
No!
What are we going to do about it?
Close him down! Resist tyranny!
Resist and act. Do not consent. It all relies on your consent, and they're coercing you into doing it. How do you protect your children from school when the vaccine bus turns up? You've told the headmaster, you've told the teachers, but what will happen? You don't really know. So you've got to think about preparing yourself to protect your family and to protect your old people from what's happening in the care homes and in the National Health Service. We have general practitioners sitting at home on £200,000 a year. That's not right. We've got doctors and nurses who don't know what's happening because they don't know the science. It's like your car engine. You know it's under the bonnet, but you don't know how it works. They don't know how these tests work, and they don't know how these injections work. All doctors and nurses should be out here today like me, wearing their uniforms and protesting. We need to call on all the doctors and nurses to come out, leave the NHS, come out in public, and they need to protest like we have today. We are in so-called a free country. Do you believe that?
No!
This is a tyranny on the population. This is a medical tyranny, a medical apartheid, and the police are being used by the government. They are pawns of the government, and they're being used wrongly. They don't want to be here on a Saturday. They want to be out catching real criminals, not criminalising us. I can't see any other doctors and nurses. Where are they? We need them to stand out and stand up. Who's going to join me? Who's a nurse or a doctor here? Come and join us. Come and protest. These injections are gene therapies. I've read the protocols, the research protocols. They are experimental. They've not been fully tested within the National Health Service. The PCR test has not been fully tested. They were rushed through because they're making billions for the pharmaceutical companies. Billions of your pounds, your tax money has gone into this. You're paying for it. Is that right?
No!
So this is a message to Boris Johnson, Keir Starmer, and all the leaders of the major parties. We are not going to stand still and allow this to happen. We're going to resist and act, and we're going to stand up for our rights. We're not going to be pushed over, and we're not going to be coerced, and we're not going to go along with the COVID pass. This is a tyranny. This money, our tax money, is paying for this. This is China taking over our industries. This is a Chinification of the West. We're not going to allow this to happen. We don't want to live in a China society where we can't leave our homes. We're locked down like battery hens, like cattle and sheep to be tested and stabbed. And we're going to stand up and protest this. We're going to go down in history. We're not going to allow this to happen. There is no liability for what they're doing. All the pharmaceutical companies have been covered by the government. Any doctor or nurse who jabs you, they've been covered, the liability has been covered. But doctors and nurses are doing this and they're committing medical battery. They're crimes, these are crimes against humanity because there is no informed consent. They don't know what's in it and they don't tell you that, they tell you it's safe, and that is a lie. It's not just wrong, it's a lie. It's a sin against humanity and it's a sin against God. All the doctors and nurses that have spoken up about this last year and this year, we've all been labelled conspiracy theorists. I didn't even know what that was, I had to go and look it up. These are labelling and stigma. They like to present us as crazy. There are so many doctors and nurses speaking out about this, and scientists. They've all got very credible backgrounds, and you know this. You read all the videos, you read all the papers, and you read all the videos. And this is a very good paper, the Light newspaper. And just look at the headline there. Study shows children have 99.995% COVID recovery rate. That means they're not at risk and they should never be jabbed. They should never be jabbed. We want to see Boris Johnson, Keir Starmer, and all the leaders of the parties, Nicola Sturgeon, we want to see them in court, prosecuted. Not just crimes against humanity, but crimes against God. They've committed the worst sin, they've lied to the public, they've misled the public, and the scientists have backed them up. And the scientists are just as bad, the Sage group of scientists. Neil Ferguson, what do you think about him?
Criminal!
What would you say to Chris Whitty? I can't hear.
You can keep his forehead as well.
These are scientists of the Fourth Reich. They're scientists that are committing a Holocaust and a genocide against the population. There are so many scientists speaking out. The Heart Group, the Great Barrington Declaration, Dr. Adil, Sunita Gupta, the names, there are literally thousands across the world. This isn't just Newcastle, this is everywhere. Let's give a great big round of applause to those scientists. Now I'm sure you're fed up of hearing from me, so I'm going to pass the mic over to somebody else who'd like to speak.